2. Good Lord. All right. Peace. 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 How y'all doing? Welcome. All right. Welcome to a night to remember, Club Zanzibar. Let's go. I'm sorry to disappoint the one person who is here to hear me speak, but I'm not going to intro 8 people to my right, 8 wonderful, legendary people, but I do just want to introduce our moderator for today's discussion, the amazing Jamara Wakefield. Please give a hand for her. And I want to thank y'all, just thank all you beautiful people for making it out today on this hot, humid, muggy day. I hope it cools down a little here. The air is running, but we want to have plenty to go through, and we got some time to make up for it, so keep it short and sweet. So we'll pass this off to Jamara and to our panel. Thank you again.
Oh, now you can do better than that. You are in the presence. Know that you are in the presence of house music royalty right now. And we're going to get to the panel, but the crowd is pretty live too. We got DJ Jahad Muhammad, we got Caroline Mother Bird over here, we got D-Wow Music Radio over there. Everybody is here. So just give everyone a round of applause for coming out and supporting house music and the culture in Newark, right? My name is Jamara Wakefield, and we're just going to get into it because I'm so excited to have everyone here. So we'll just do individual introductions. So for the panel, can you please just introduce yourself and describe your role or relationship to Zanzibar? And remember, this is for folks here and folks at home who are on the YouTube watching us.
Yes, my name is Vicent. My role associated with Zanzibar. I was a photographer. I was one of the photographers. My friend Kent drove it out, telling him the baby Charles Johnson and I was partners of the photographer. Woo-hoo!
Well, y'all do right. I am Berger. I was assistant to alvaromrxjimenez. I was there 10 years. We started Labor Day weekend 1979. And this is the gentleman that made it all possible.
My name is Berger. I built the Zanzibar back in '77. We actually started first as AIDS Disco. Why AIDS? Because the motel was called Lincoln Motel. And A was the first name of Abraham Lincoln. Gerald was, I think, the single DJ at that time. And then business was good. Crowds were packing in. We had the ballroom above the first floor. The first floor was actually a restaurant and bar. We ripped out the bar and we converted it at that time into the disco, and the business was good, so we expanded to the second floor. We went to the second floor. We then named it Zanzibar, and we'll be speaking about that today.
Hello, my name is Torrales. Lucky to work at AIDS before it was Zanzibar. I used to really walk my man Gerald was the main DJ. But when we opened Zanzibar, I lucked out, and Miles decided I will be the opening job. Zanzibar, opening man.
My name is Gerald Roney, a.k.a. DJ Gerald T. I just want to say that I was there before it became the Lincoln Hotel. That's how far I go. So I was part of that the history from all the way back when it was the Holiday Inn. And when Miles came in, he loved me so much, I became the creator from snap. The whole thing became a creator. I will tell you a story when time for me to come speak again. But that's it.
Tony Humphries.
I'm very grateful to be a part of this panel up here. A lot of pride here.
Okay, great. So, Miles, take us back in time. Did you ever think that Zanzibar was going to have the legacy that it has today?
No, actually not. We couldn't predict it. At that time, Studio 54 was the biggest disco probably in the United States for sure, maybe in the world, the most famous. And I figured if they could have that in New York City, we should have one in Newark. So I had the space, I had the people here that you see, and we went ahead and took a shot. And as I said before, we opened on the first floor only, which was really the test. And then when we went upstairs, we changed it all. We brought the sound system that they had, Richard Long sound system, Richard Long and Associates. I would choose one for the bass. The bass could knock you on off your feet. That's how strong the bass was. I used to go home Saturday night to tell you how strong the bass was. I would go home Saturday a.m., it was already Sunday morning, around 4:30, 5 o'clock. After being there for 6-7 hours. Go to sleep for a couple of hours. At 9 a.m. I drive back, driving up Broad Street. On some occasions, the club was still open at 9 a.m. And while I was in my car, I could feel the bass. That's how the whole street vibrated. Like if you're in the subway in the Bronx, Jerome Avenue, and the train goes by, you can feel it in those buildings. That's how we felt with Richard Long. And we had one of the best lighting people too. But they came in and they gave us the light show. We copied a lot from the garage, the studio. The garage was really a lot of our competition, but yet in a way it wasn't. People would go to the garage first. If they lived in New Jersey, they went to the garage. And then they came back to us around 3-4 a.m. They would arrive. And in reverse, if they lived in New York, they came to Zanzibar first, leave around 2-3 a.m. and the garage was open, I think, till noon on Sunday. So that was really, the garage was really the inspiration for Zanzibar. And we share, like I say, a lot of the same customers.
Mark, you're really representing the women in house tonight. So can you tell us about your role? And I mean, you pretty much have done everything. But can you tell us about your role and what impact Zanzibar had in your life then and now? Tell us some stories, Marky. That's what we really want to hear.
I came down here last week to the library, and everything that I had saved from Zanzibar, from the first T-shirt that says Zanzibar 430 Broad Street, I had one of the original T-shirts we gave out that opening night. And during the course of the year, I had club jackets made for all the employees. I say that it's bragging, but they say they can display it however they want. But I danced the first night, opening night. Mr. Berger's wife, Suzanne Berger, she had a mind, she had this idea. And when she named the club Zanzibar, which is in Providence in Africa, and opening night, did have Shelton Hayes, which was decorated back there. Shelton Hayes went and bought vines, and the speakers, the Larry LeMan bass bottles, he wrapped the vines all through the club. He had real flowers inside the vines. It smelled like heaven in there that night. It was so beautiful. You thought you were walking in a fairyland, because that's how we opened. And we also had dancers that night, and Lakeith was there. And we had Zip the Chip. Yeah, Zippy the Chip. We had Zip the Chip. And the guy that was in, Texas, comedian from New York. I don't think he's still here with us. But we had Mr. Berger rented the live animals in the back by the pool. We had a lot of snakes. Yeah, but we had them lined up around the pool outside that night. But Mrs. Berger, I give her all the props, because Suzanne knew her stuff. And I miss her a lot. But Zanzibar, what I did was, I came with Al Murphy. Me and Al Murphy was working at Heaven on Earth down the street from my godfather. And they called him up to have and he had a meeting with Miles, and he brought me along. So from that point on, y'all remember that we used to send flyers out? I had my mailings, and I used to mail y'all everything. And Mr. Berger gave me my own information phone line. I used to write who was coming. I used to put on there who was coming, everything. And he was very impressed. He said, "You did that?" I said, "Yes, sir, I did that." But I handled the employees, and I handled most of the entertainers that came. I was his host. I was his representative with the entertainers. I handled contracts and all of that for the club with his help. But don't forget who was there in the beginning. Al Murphy, Larry Patterson is my mentor, and Keith Scott. When we started, Larry was on Friday nights. T was on Saturday nights, okay? And during the course of Zanzibar, after the first year, we started growing, the crowds started coming. And Larry would bring in guest DJs. You know, he was in a big record group, so he knew all the DJs, plus he worked for a record company. But we had Francois Kilbachian was a guest DJ. We started out Thursday night, children's night. We had to bring Larry and the band. And believe me, the night that Mike Brody came over to the club, he said, "I want to see what this club is all about." And he said, "I would never thought that this kind of club was in New York." You know how big the garage was. I mean, we didn't have the capacity like the garage, but he was very impressed. He said, "Well, I can see why he wanted to play over here." Because it was the sound system was a mini garage sound system. You know, just like the garage. You know, Mr. Berger didn't spare no expense. He got the best, and y'all got the best sound. Okay? So, like I said, I handle all the entertainers and most of the employees for the club, you know, so that was my thing. I did all the paperwork and stuff for Zanzibar.
Can you talk a little bit about children's night? Can you talk a little bit about children's night for people who may not be familiar with what that means?
We just said children's night. That was our game night. Okay, we just said children's night. We just said children's night, which meant that was our game night. You know, LGBTQ. Yeah, that was our night. And you wouldn't believe the mailing list I had. We had people coming all the way from Florida. On weekends, we had people coming from Maryland, South Carolina. They would get their room in New England, they would stay up here all weekend, and they would party. And they would leave on Sunday and go back home. It was remarkable how fast that club grew. And every year, Mr. Berger added something to enhance that club. The monitors, when the music videos first came out, when Michael Jackson first had, he got monitors, he ordered the videos, we showed them in the club, then he got more lights, and at the end, he kept saying, "We can't have no singer stand on this platform in front of the DJ. Mr. Berger, we gotta get a stage." And he built a stage. He built a nice stage in there. So Zanzibar was hooked. That's all I can say. He hooked Zanzibar up, you know. But that was that night. The first opening act for our children's night was Grace Jones. That lady was something else. Grace was something else. I really enjoyed her. So you want to ask me anything else?
So before we get into DJs, because we have so much to talk about around technology and culture, a lot around culture and house and changing. I want to just draw your attention to these photographs that were there. It's pulled them out, okay? Vicent, Bryant's photographs are rolling through on the screen. Yes, it's such a blessing that we have these photographs preserved and we're able to still look at them. I believe he has some books here today. And are you photos too? Of course you do.
Everything I have that I collected and saved from that pictures that you don't have that I took from my little Kodak camera.
Okay, I'm coming to your house and look at your photos next, Larky.
I gave it to the library. I donated everything about Zanzibar I have to Newark Library for the citizens of Newark to enjoy.
Vincent, can you tell us the story about how you got the gig? This is one of my favorite stories. How'd you get the gig at Zanzibar?
My friend, I have a friend here, I guess down the street from him, by the name of Charles Johnson. We had this idea of, back in the day, every photographer wanted to have his own house. So that's when we turned house photography. We used to shoot Polaroid film. That was one of the hustles that was going around. So every photographer wanted to have his own house. So Charles and I, we came down one night to the club, Zanzibar. We met Miles. So when we came in, it was always, Miles wanted to know what did we want. And we told him we wanted to be the photographer. He said, from that day to this day, he says, I'm Miles Berger. And I've been knowing him as Miles Berger my whole entire career. So he says, okay, give me your name. And, I called him. And about a couple of weeks later, I got a call from Miles. He said, are you still interested in being a photographer? He said, oh yeah. He said, well, come down. So we came down, we talked with him, and he looked at it. He said, you guys do a Polaroid film? Polaroid camera? We said, yes. He said, how much did you charge? So we gave him one price. He said, that's too low. He said, you got to raise the price. And so he says, okay, we made an arrangement. You don't have to know all that, but we made an arrangement to be the exclusive photographers at the club. So he told us, when you leave on Sunday morning, make sure you stop by the front desk. And so I had to make a comment. I said, what if we don't stop by the front desk? He said, you know it. And so we kind of laughed. And Miles already had the photos already made up. And so that first night we came down to shoot, I was amazed. I was not thinking about anything to that magnitude. So we cut out even get in the club to set up to shoot the Polaroid. And so Miles, so we went up. And I remember that night, real video. I had to get out 2 packs of Polaroids. He just come putting packs. And we shot all we had. And about 4 o'clock in the morning, people came and they were lining up to take pictures. They said, we want to take pictures. I said, we out of film. I said, what kind of photographer is that? You out of film. I said, we already have no photography. So I had shot all the film I had. I had no idea on the magnitude of people who were coming. It was amazing. That's how I started with the pictures. And early on down, we were just kind of hustling and making money. And so Miles came to me and said, if you take pictures of the show, how about the pictures? I said, oh, you will? So from that day, I started taking pictures of the show. And Miles, like he said, true to his word, we were buying, he bought all of the pictures we took at the show. But I want to say to all of you, one of Miles saying that he wouldn't buy the pictures. There would be no book. There would be no a lot of those pictures evolved. There's no one on earth that has worn my pictures than Bob Berger. Thank you for that. And we need to give Bob Berger a round of applause.
Absolutely. The piece that Vicent humbly left out is that he is a Vietnam veteran, and like many people, first of all, thank you to everyone else. And like as many of you know, people who served in Vietnam, because of the time difference when they came home, many people did suffer from insomnia, right? And so that, being up at night, and this is the moment where it actually came in handy, right? Because he's awake, because of the time difference between the U.S. and Vietnam, which made him awake to be up to do this photography at night, right? And I think these small pieces of detail of Black history and of music history are really important because that Vietnam history and Newark history is all connected. So thank you for your service and certainly thank you for your archives. Now, I know everyone's anxious for the other side of the panel as well. So I want to talk about how did Zanzibar shape your career as a DJ? And what comes to mind in terms of technology? Because I'm fascinated by the changeover of technology in the 80s and 90s for house music. Because if it wasn't for the change in technology, we wouldn't have the experiences that we have now. So we can start with whoever's ready, but I would just love to hear about how Zanzibar impacted your career and your aesthetic as a DJ.
Well, like I said, my story is a long story, so I hope I can give you the whole story how
We got a little time.
I got involved with I'm gonna start back when it was 430 Broad Street. Before it became the Lincoln Hotel, it was the Holiday Inn. And if you guys remember, if you were old enough to remember, back in the day, the bands were the entertainment. Everywhere you went, bands were playing. DJs weren't even out yet. Bands were playing. And they had a band out at the Holiday Inn at 430 Broad Street. I said, let me go check it out. Because I already been DJing all around different little bars and stuff. So I go down there and I see the band and the guys that was running the club at the time, two young guys were running. I went to them and I said, do you ever think about having a DJ come down here and play? Because you just got the jukebox. And nobody is really interested in hearing that music on the jukebox. So he said, yeah, we'll try the DJ out. So I came and set my equipment up in there inside the restaurant part, which was a big part. And after about 2 months, they came to me, and when I first went down, they had maybe 25, 30 people that would come and see the band. So later on, after about 2 months, he came to me and said, we're getting rid of the bands. Because everybody that's coming down here is coming for you. That's what he said, the place was packed. Nobody wasn't coming before we had a DJ, now they're coming for you. So after I was playing there, and we just got it going and had it going really nice, and they said the hotel is sold. So I was coming down there, had the key to the place, going in and get my equipment out there. And just as I was coming out, this little guy right here, he came to the door because I guess he was trying to figure out who I was. So I looked at him and I said, well, who are you? He said, I'm the new owner. I just bought the hotel. And then he said, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm the DJ here. And he says, well, I want to open up a club. Do you want to work for me? And I said, sure. That was our introduction to me and Miles. And ever since then, we've been knowing each other for 50 years. I've been knowing him for 50 years, and we started out together. And we acted more like brothers because we're the same age. We're 25 at the time. At that time, we were 25. So now he wants to put a club in there. And I said, okay, we're going to do a club. You got to get we're going to put a real club in here. So I said, come on, Miles, I'm going to take you over to New York. I want to introduce you to somebody. And I took him over to Richard Long's studio. Because I had knew Richard Long a long time, even back during the Paradise Garage days. And I said, if we're gonna do a real club, we gotta get Richard Long to do the club. And that's how we got Richard Long in there. And we started out a small amount of people, and I built the club up to the point where we were getting 200-300 people. But I'm always thinking, what could I do to, take up, like put the other clubs out of business, and we could take over. So look, I went to school, I majored in business law, and I had a little knowledge about the business. And I said to Miles, do you mind if I go talk to ABC, Alcohol and Beverage, down on Rainbow Boulevard? He said, yeah, go, I just want to get your permission first. So I went down there, and I met with them 3 different times, but on the second time, I told them a law that I knew about. That's, if you have a liquor license in a hotel, that your license is different from the regular bar license. And when I went and told them that, and I came back the second time, they said, man, they said, you really know your stuff? He said, because we didn't know that. We didn't know that a liquor license in a hotel is different from a liquor license that's in a bar. With the liquor license in a hotel was allow us to stay open past 6 o'clock in the morning. The first night that we opened up with that rule of 6 o'clock, we went from getting 300 people to 800 people. And we was packing them in the lobby. We started charging at the entrance to the hotel lobby going in the door because we had to use the lobby to fill up, to put the people in there. That's when I came to Miles after a few months and said, Miles, we got a problem. I said, we got to either take that swimming pool and put a dome open, or either we got to take that ballroom upstairs and make that a club. And Miles said, well, I rent that club out for $750 a night. And I said, Miles, how often do you rent that ballroom? If you rent it once a month, that's the most. And I said to him, we're going to make $750 in the first 10 minutes at the door, every night. So he thought about it, came back to me later on and said, Gerald, we're going to do that. So after he said we're going to do it, right, once again, we jumped in this little sports car, all the way back over to Richard Long, and we got a project for you, Richard. We need you to convert this big ballroom into a club. And he got his contractors together, he drew up a blueprint, and so now you know where it came from, who was the one that put Zanzibar on the map. Now you know, you hear it from the man's mouth. So that's what we had our grand opening, Labor Day weekend, 1979. And we were packed. The first night we had about 1,800 people, and the second night we had about 2,500 people. Matter of fact, I remember Channel 4 News came over, was interviewing me, and I was on TV. They were interviewing, and I was giving them the story of how all this became what it became. And that was a wonderful weekend because we, like they were telling you earlier, how the animals, the monkey was riding around on skates. Yeah, motor skating. The monkey riding on a motor skate. We had lions in the cage, tigers in the cage. And I got a chance to have one of the cobras wrap around my arm to see how they feel. And I said, I never would want one of them snakes to wrap around me because it was so tight. But anyhow, like I said, I wanted to give you guys the whole history of how it started. And basically, how this man's relationship was. Because every time I came to him with an idea, he was welcome to do it. Because I was pointing him in the right direction. Right direction every time. Thank you. Thank you for letting me express myself and tell you the story.
All right, let's take the second half now. So, in the 70s in Newark, we had a couple of clubs. 73, when I first started DJing, we used to have a big Frank Pro roller skating ring here. You know the roller skating ring? Nobody ever did disco in there. So my partner Butchie decided we were going to do disco in there. So we started doing disco at the Frank Pro roller skating ring. Okay? We built up a crowd from there. From there, we opened up a little club called Docs. Now Docs was the club in Newark. Nobody will tell you differently. Any club in New York was the exact same thing at Docs. We had the same crowd in New York, we had the same atmosphere, we played the same music, they came for it. So what happened was, I went over to, our first manager in Zanzibar, when I was there, was Desmond, his name was Desmond. So he hired me on the weeknights to DJ. Gerald used to do the weekend nights, to do a Tuesday night. When we first opened up Zanzibar, the reason why I was one of the early jobs was because of Docs, because I had that crowd that was an actual club crowd. The crowd that goes to the garage, the better day, all that kind of stuff. Gerald used to do the weekend, and they used to get a crowd that was more like a mature crowd. I had those street thugs that like to dance, you know, people on the street that want to come in and dance all night. That's what we used to do. So when we opened, I opened up Friday, Gerald was doing Saturdays, all right? We opened up the first weekend, I did Friday, Gerald did Saturdays. We did that for the first, like month and a half, 2 months, something like that. What happened was, I kept telling Miles, we need to bring Al Murphy in. Now Miles told me, we don't need to, we're making so much money, why do we need to bring him in? I said, because we want to bring in a gay night. We want to do the children's night, like she said. Now, children's night actually started on a Wednesday. Let's get that correct. Yeah, Wednesday. What happened was, when we were doing Zanzibar, when I brought in Al Murphy, I told him we wanted to have guest DJs. So I would bring in guest DJs, okay? And that's how we started bringing guest DJs. Now, Al Murphy, when we started, wanted to bring in Larry Levan to start children's night. So that's how we got Larry Levan. Larry Levan was not allowed to play anywhere outside of New York. Nowhere. He wasn't allowed to play anywhere. They allowed him to do Zanzibar because it was in Jersey. Larry did it for a month. That was it. He didn't want to do more than a month. He just did it for a month. But he did it, okay? He came, we got close, and that's how we got. And then what happened was after that, 3 months, Al Murphy said, this is what he told me with Gerald and with DJ. We need you to be the DJ on the weekends only. That's what he told me. So Gerald was the DJ on Saturday. I'm like, well, wait a minute, Gerald. He said, no, we need you to be the DJ on Friday and Saturday. And I felt bad doing that. I'm like, wait, hey, listen, we need to do this. So I think I went over to Miles and told him, and Miles said, well, what about Gerald? I said, well, it's not me. Now Al Murphy saying that this is what we should do. So they finally decided, and I ended up doing Fridays and Saturdays for the first year and a half on the weekend. Okay? Now, when we did that, we were always crowded. There was no such thing as a building. There was no night when we opened for the first year. If I correct Gerald, we always had a crowd. Always. There was no crowd. There was no night that we didn't have a crowd. But when I was there, Al Murphy wanted to start bringing in his DJ. But yeah, that's his DJ. So he wanted to bring him in. So after a while, I got pushed aside. Larry Patterson got brought in. And then from there, that's how they brought in T. Scott, Francois, David Torrales did a guest spot, all the other DJs did guest spots after that. But that's how it started, me and Gerald doing the weekends. Okay, and on opening night, they give me credit all the time, but opening night, WNGR played Sugar Hill Gang Rappers Delight first. We brought it to the club, Gerald T played it first downstairs. Then when we opened the upstairs, I played it upstairs. So yeah, Zanzibar broke Rappers Delight on the East Coast. Nobody in the East Coast that played rap. The first time it was played.
And also, I was live on the radio.
That's right.
So I was a DJ to play, first DJ to play a rap record on the radio and live in the club.
That's right.
I was the first DJ. Matter of fact, I just want to say this, that I invited Sylvia and Joe Robinson. Do you know who they are? They were in the DJ booth with me when I was playing that record. Sylvia, if you remember, she was an artist.
Pillow Talk.
Yeah, Pillow Talk. Remember that song, Pillow Talk? So she was in the DJ booth with me. And also, I made an arrangement with Sylvia to bring on Saturday this group called We Got the Funk. Remember the Force. And they blew it out on Saturday. I had to do it. And that was a brand new record that we broke that night.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay.
The other thing we brought in Zanzibar when we first started, before I worked with them, we had the Whispers live with their band. We had Eddie Kendricks live with his band. I mean, that's how much quality we had going into that place. We really had amazing acts that came out before. Chaka Khan, Grace Jones, the Weather Girl. I mean, all these people promote. Lolita Holloway constantly. Lolita Holloway. Yeah. And on top of that, me and Tony, both lived at Zanzibar. It was part of our deal. We lived at the Lincoln Hotel. Right, Tony? Me and Tony did. And Chino also lives. And Chino, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, he was my light man at Zanzibar.
Let me just say, Gino was there, and Gino had two co-conspirators who were Brian Davis and Lenny Ford. Those were there, and those lights every weekend. They made sure those spotlights and all of that was done. They would change the next miles, and they get some more of this and some more of that. And Mrs. Berger never said no. Never said no to us.
And Chino went on to become a policeman because a policeman until he retired recently. Let's give him a hand. I would just like to ask, because I see a lot of young people out here who I know were never at Zanzibar. Whoever was at Zanzibar in the good old days, raise your hand. I just want to get an idea. Okay.
So most of this crowd, y'all know from your parents, right? Your parents came to Zanzibar, right? Oh, okay.
If you're not at least 60, you probably wasn't there.
Well, no, Joe, we had some youngins in there. We had some youngins in there. Yes, we did. And a lot of those kids got in trouble when they walked out the door. But they never left. Yeah, you were there. But I'll say this, we were the only club that stayed open till 6:30, 7 in the morning. The reason why Zanzibar stayed open that late was because a lot of the kids did not have no cars. They took the bus downtown. So we did not let them go out in the streets early in the morning like that until the buses started, right? So that's what we did for our patrons who came to Zanzibar. We made sure they had ways of getting home. And they didn't have to be distracted and walking back up the west side or whatever way. But we did that. We definitely did that and made that a standard, you know. And yeah.
I just want to say one more thing.
Please.
To add to what Gerald said about the history when we opened. So I was introduced to Al Murphy. Al Murphy was running, what was the name of the club? The Yacht. What was the other club?
But he worked in heaven.
He worked in Heaven on Earth, which was a men's clothing store right across the street from Military Park. And about a year into the operation of the club, or maybe it was even less, maybe 8 months, we get a notice from the city that it's true what Gerald said about a hotel, and the hotel could stay open because the hotel had a restaurant, and we were using technically the restaurant, and the restaurant and the hotel was open breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so there was no legal closing time. We also had a dance hall license, so the disco had a dance hall license. The dance hall license, not the liquor license, but that was really around by the state, but the dance hall license was controlled by the city. And they came back with a ruling that dance halls had to close at 3 a.m. So, that's 3 a.m. People first coming in at 2, 3 a.m. and I couldn't come for an hour and leave. So he said, well, I'm going to bring you to one of the councilmen in Newark. And I knew nothing about Newark politics really at the time. I met Ken Gibson, who of course was the mayor. But I didn't know the council. There's 9 people on the council. I didn't really know them. I didn't know the names. So I'm going to bring you to a guy named Sharp James. So he took me to Essex County College. We went at lunchtime. And we met Sharp James, who was a councilman, in the cafeteria. And I remember we got our food. We sat down with him. And I said, look, the council wants to pass this new law that dance hall licenses, you couldn't dance after 3 a.m. So of course you couldn't drink after 3 a.m. because we took away the liquor. You had to take away the liquor, and you couldn't serve or allow it to be consumed. So you couldn't just not stop selling it because people could sit on the drink for an hour. So they have to drink at 2:30, they can still have it at 3:30, then they pull the license and close it down. So that we obeyed that as well as we could, of course. We obeyed that, but the dance hall, limiting the dance hall hours would actually be a death toll for the club. So I worked with Sharp James, who was the councilman, who would eventually, of course, become one of the most famous mayors in Newark and one of the best mayors that Newark ever had. Let's have a round of applause for Sharp. Sharp James then, with other members of the council, they ended up retracting that. They had actually passed it, and I hired an attorney, we went to court, and the court gave us a temporary restraining order so that the city could not enforce the time to close at 3. And then during that period, we settled, negotiated, and they agreed to allow us to be open. Sharp James was often a customer, came into Zanzibar. He was a good dancer, Sharp James, by the way. He still is. And he saved it, Sharp. Otherwise, we would have had a closing 3, and we wouldn't have probably been able to, well, it was built already, so we would have stayed open, but it wouldn't have been successful. And now we would stop other people from making investments and opening up other clubs in Newark, which there were some that did open. One was the one on Broad Street, Paradiso, which was open, which was our competition at first, and it didn't last. Clubs normally have a life of 4 or 5 years. I think Zanzibar lasted about 15 or 16 years.
I'm going to turn it over to Tony. One other thing I want to say, while I was in Zanzibar, I was lucky I won best DJ for the state of New Jersey. Voted on by all the DJs in the state of New Jersey. 1980, right? So, when I got that, guess what? I went to Miles and said, I need a raise. So I got a raise. But because I got a raise, they gave me a raise because I gave him, the DJ at the state. He goes, what about Gerald? I'm going to have to give him a raise. So, Gerald, thank you.
All right, here we go.
I want to introduce you, because this man right here that Larry Patterson brought to us,
That's right.
he brought Tony in. Larry get tired on Friday, that's where, because we stay, like they said, we stay on the 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
And when this young, but when he came, and he worked for Kiss FM back then, and when he came, he met, Fred, what you call on the radio, he did Kiss nights, and they gave out buttons and all of that, and we had the DJs on the air coming. Friday nights, if you weren't in Zanzibar, you had your radio on, okay? If you couldn't be in Zanzibar, believe me, everybody's radio is on Friday night at Kiss FM, okay? But Tony was my mentor, and I kind of think he took Larry was my mentor. He grabbed Tony. Tony had an ear for music. Tony didn't just play what everybody else was playing. Tony would take an album and he would listen to side A and side B. And he would pull songs that y'all be like, where did that come from? He has this ear of picking songs that no DJ did what he did. That's all I can say. But he came there for Larry Patterson, and he played all the night. People didn't want to go home. We used to tell Tony, I said, Tony, play some church music. You play church music early in the morning. When they in church, then we got to bring them to church. We play church music in the morning. Because we be there till Sunday morning. Yeah, church music. That's when we saw that church. When we brought the Park Sisters. The Park Sisters.
I'm not calling you, talk now.
So go ahead, baby. It's your floor.
It's your floor, come on.
The people were dancing.
You didn't need much for me to talk about. What a ride. First thing I gotta say is what a ride. A ride, I arrived in 1982, and I left around 1996. I went to England in 93, and then I came back and had another short stint. But again, as you said, Larry Parsons only gave me the shot. He was working with Prelude Records. I was, hustling DJ in New York. Everybody wanted to play Paradise Garage, very competitive, and Larry said to me, I want you to come check out this place in Jersey. And I'm like, Jersey? Where? He says, come check this place out. I'm telling you, I'm from East New York, all right? So I used to live out by Kennedy Airport. Anyway, so myself and Chef Eddie Bond, one of the on-the-air personalities, Jose Guzman, the kids, we drove out there one night, and we walked into the place. It wasn't open, and we walked in, we saw the first floor, and we were like, okay, this is what this is all about. Next place, all glitzy and pretty and everything, and walked up the stairs. I walked into this room, and I said, oh my God. I'm not going to tell anybody in the world about this place. I'm going to keep this to myself, okay? I don't want nobody else to know about it. And so, anyway, we went to the DJ booth. It was like wicked, just like the garage. And it was a Wednesday, and they had Thorn's turntables, which I wasn't into yet. And Larry said, come back next Wednesday, whatever. And he said, I gotta go meet somebody at the door. So he said, why don't you play a couple of records? So I played a couple of records, and it was the worst thing you ever heard in your life. I tried to match it. They sound like ash cans. It sounds like, I don't know, it was great. I couldn't match the beat, forget it. And I went down to the men's room, and I started to cry, And Larry Parsons came down after me, and he said, well, what's the matter? I said, listen, I'm really not this bad. Can you please give me another shot? One more shot, okay? And he came back on a Friday night, and gave me another shot, and the smartest thing I did was find every easy record that I could make. The easiest records I could mix, and the ones that I knew that they played, that I would have no problem with. So after about 2 or 3 mixes that it didn't fall off beat or anything, he said, keep on playing. I said, sure, keep on playing. So the story is, Larry Parsons gave me a second chance. He gave me a second chance, or none of this would have happened. And I'm very indebted to him for that. And what happened was I started backing him up and T. Scott up. They used to come from East New York all the time, Kennedy Airport, every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for like a year, almost a year. Whenever they needed to take a break, I'd play for a half an hour, they come back up. And then, Al Berger said, you're abusing this kid. And he said, you got to make up your mind what you want to do with them. And my thing was, it wasn't even about the money, it was like challenging myself to be able to play long hours like Gary and the band did, and the fact that the club was open that long. It was a challenge. So it was approximately about the time of doing 3 sets, or three nights, okay? And it was a mental challenge to do that, to be able to find all that music, keep people going. You had 3 different types of crowds. You had the early crowd, okay, who came to see an act or a group. You had a second crowd who just barely got in to see the show, and then there was the group after that who stayed until 10 in the morning. Okay, so you had to kind of know how to play differently for each one of the 3. And that's the challenge that I wanted. So I did something crazy one night, and I just said to Al Murphy, and I said, listen, y'all don't give me a night, I'm not coming back. That was very, very risky to do, okay? But that's how I got Wednesday night. And after I got Wednesday night, and Larry and Friday, to get Saturday, history from there. That was it.
What year did you start at that?
19, I got the job at KISS July 16, 1981. I came to Zanzibar 82.
Right.
82. Yeah.
You were there till 84, 88?
No, I was there till 93 and then came back again. I remember Billy was in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, the other thing too, I think what was really cool and kind of forced me was the fact that I was on the radio 2 or 3 nights a week. All right, there's a lot of pressure, okay, to have these shows on. You know, Wednesday night I was on the radio, Thursday night I had to do specials, Friday night was 2 or 3 hours, Saturday night was 2 or 3 hours. So I was actually doing shows from the club a lot of times. Okay, so the music that was played at Zanzibar was the exact same music I was playing on the radio. I could not hide or get away from playing anything crazy or stupid or, you know, cheesy or whatever. And the other dimension that really helped out was that I had retail. I had moving records with Adam. Okay, and that you know, a lot of what's called music from. And that rotation, every week, what was new, what were the inputs, what was on this show, what was on that show. A lot of things I didn't even play maybe 2 times or 3 times. Okay, but the rotation had to keep going because I couldn't be stale on the radio. So it kind of forced me to keep fresh all the time. Radio forced me to keep fresh, made me do what I did. And between those 3 mediums, that's how, what shaped me or whatever record that I had. That's it.
Thank you so much. I believe we have a special guest, Berger.
Yes, on the side here, support of Chris Bryant is here with us.
Diane Ross once said to Barry Gordon that it's not about the people who leave your life that is important. It's about the people who come back. And today, everybody comes back. To honor something more important than anything, which was that of a great man who gave me an opportunity, my friend, your friend. First of all, I acknowledge you, Chief. It's a pleasure. And the gentleman, Mr. Hippie, of course. They'll make my way, Mr. Vicent, of course. And the sister of Zanzibar forever, Ms. Long. And I can never say it too many times, my friend for 48 years, Mr. Berger. Thank you. What I want to do is make myself perfectly clear today. I was supposed to be here for Zoom or whatever the case may be, but I just got out of the hospital, the news was I ain't heard operation. But I thought that this moment was a moment in time that was so important that I made my way right on down here and give you something more important than anything, that was the truth. And I want to give you the truth about a lot of things. And be mindful as I tell this is the first time that I ever made an appearance to speak about any of these things. Everybody up here have a history and there's many more. This is my very first time speaking openly because I had a dad for 35 years. That's that thing. And with Vicent, I got the call from Vince about this historical moment. I thought I would take advantage of the opportunity. First of all, I'm going to go all the way back to 1978. Zanzibar is just the end of the traveling road that Mr. Berger put together. When I said the end, I had the pleasure of being involved with 4 activities with Mr. Berger. One a disco, Zanzibar, of America, and my last event was Club Zanzibar. So for 4 decades, maybe 5, I had the pleasure of what Shaw called me the nightlife road. So I can give you the history of Newark, New Jersey. I can also give you the history of Zanzibar. And what I heard today, Hippie man, amazed me because you remember that I did bring the whispers into Zanzibar. I brought Eddie Kensington to Zanzibar. You know, we brought Fine Vaughn Williams to Zanzibar. But long before that, there's some people that we forgot. We forgot about a guy named Shelton Hayes. And if I can remember, and the way we got me wrong, I think Shelton was the one who presented you all night to Miles Berger. Because Miles hired him to do the flowers and things and many more times. I think Shelton Hayes was the one who decided to bring all of that night to Zanzibar. That's fact and basis.
Shelton was with Albert and Larry at the shop. That was out at 8 on Hall Street. You know, down from Shanique's. Y'all remember Shanique's? Like Shanique's?
And from my understanding, Miles Berger and Shelton had a great relationship, a friendship at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because Miles hired him to do all the stuff in 8 years ago. So that's such a very straight brothers that it didn't just pop like that. Shelton Hayes,
Shelton was around a long time. He started decoration.
And we should be honoring Shelton as well.
But he was the doorman too.
Well, that was on after the fact. I'm talking about what he did prior to that. And, you know, we should be mindful, you know, because the truth tastes good when you got a belly full of lies.
There's a lot of lies going on out here.
So, Hippie and Gerald was the first DJ in 1978 that I can recall, and so forth and so on. But the club was more than music, house music, disco. Zanzibar was just part of the revelation that now you damn, see you in 50 years. Damn.
That's a reunion.
Yeah. My gosh. Your kids here too?
So I think we should open up for questions, right? I want to make sure that you have time to talk to these beautiful folks up here. I'm going to do a quick plug for myself while I'm up here. So my name is Jamar Wakefield, and since 2019, I've been interviewing members of the house music community, and we have a film called Black House, Black Joy that will be released in the middle of November this coming fall. And so that's what I'm about to say, Becky. So we have over 600 interviews, all of which we're turning into an episodic series, and we're also have donated them to the library for public use so that they can be a part of the long-term history of Black history, music history, Newark history. And so I just want to put out a quick call for interviews. If you are in this room and you have a story to tell about house music, Zanzibar, Newark, nightlife, Black life, queer life, I want to hear from you. So make sure that I get your contact information before we leave today so that we can get you involved in the project. It's been a beautiful project. I've interviewed Vicent, Muhammad, Deuce is here, Caroline Berger. So, you know, if you need to check my references, feel free. But I would love to speak with you and love to archive your history because it's important and it needs, people 100 years from now need to know that you existed and they need to know that your stories existed. So we're gonna open for questions because I just don't want to leave it to the last minute so that we can have enough time to kiki together. Is that all right with y'all?
Yeah, I just want to give somebody credit. We got one person.
Oh, please.
Opening, the first deep manager at Zanzibar names, when me and Gerald were there, was a guy named Desmond. So Desmond, yeah.
Say their names.
Zanzibar. Yeah, when Zanzibar opened, Desmond was our manager. He was the manager before anybody else came. He was the manager to Zanzibar. I just don't give him credit. And I'll say, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'll be at the Lincoln Festival at the end of July, Lincoln Park. I will be playing there.
I just want to say one thing that we didn't really give enough credit to. It's true, I was the business behind Zanzibar, but the artistic behind Zanzibar was Al Murphy. Al Murphy, I think, was funny. So, really, Al deserves a lot of credit.
Well, now, we have to give praises and rest in peace to the guy who created this logo for Zanzibar. His name is Colton Sinclair. He was an artist. Every month we tell him who's coming to the club and he'd make up a flyer and he would just, when he get this stuff. But Robinson Blair is a person, this is his logo, he made this up. And he's passed on now, so the rest of the East Coast, he's still carrying this title with us.
One last thing. In addition to the DJs and the managers and people in the office, at Zanzibar, we have a lot of people working out front. We had a normal Saturday night was about 1,000 people. We had a lot of security. We had some off-duty doing cops, and then we had some security at the door, like you have. And you had male security, we even had female security. So at points we were frisking people down in the knives and we converted to the club. Found the knife, we sent you back to your car, put the knife back, and then come back. Our best female security guard is here today. I want her to stand up. She used to sound like a bird. She used to whistle like a bird. Her name is Birdie. Right here, Birdie, stand up.
And one of Mal's oldest friends, if y'all came to Zanzibar, y'all could never miss this man, Block. You cannot miss Block. He was one security guy that could handle it all. And he was best.
I just want to say one other thing. This project started out, and it is, the reason we did this, we donated photos of the Zanzibar to be archived in the library, and I just wanted to make sure that the history of Zanzibar, and all of us who worked so hard to put it together, will remain history, Newark history, in the eyes of the Newark Library. So you'll be able to go into the library and see the history, part of the history of the Zanzibar. So that's why this whole program was put together for that same purpose. Archive our history. You want to take on?
We did a night special for the Pop Warner kids, for the kids playing the youth in Newark. And we had, there's Millie Jackson, you have the lady next to her, was the first black lady that did a commercial for Ultra Bright. She was there. We had Earl Monroe there that night, we had Patty LaBelle there that night. We had a couple of giant players back in the day. Yeah. That was there that night. So, that night made the Jet magazine. It made the Jet, Patty LaBelle with the little kids, the little football players. It made the Jet magazine. Yeah, yes it did. So, Zanzibar was up and coming. And y'all won't let it die. Y'all won't let it die.
All right, please, so quick hand for our panel. 26